Water is an extraordinary substance. Sometimes we take it for granted because, it's all over the place. You just turn on the faucet and it comes out. Today, it's awesome. It's raining and there's water falling out of the sky. Last summer, we were pretty concerned about our water because we didn't have very much. But water is also very extraordinary. It's the most common and most important liquid on Earth. There are very few substances, actually, that exist as liquids under normal atmospheric pressure and temperature. And think of liquids that you encounter in everyday life. Coffee. Okay, the liquid in coffee is water. Something else. Mercury. Mercury is a liquid at room temperature. Anybody else? Soda. Water again. Most of the things that we encounter actually have water as the solvent. Acetone. Pardon me? Yeah, you don't very often, but it is a liquid, right? Other liquids are gasoline, okay, paint thinner, alcohol. Those are substances that are liquids. Pardon me?
I was saying sort of, considering most of our, if we're talking about alcohol
Well,
consumption.
If you're talking about alcohol that you're drinking, it's a mixture of alcohol and water. But pure alcohol is a liquid at room temperature. Unlike, the soda or coffee, right? The coffee was a solid before you mixed it with the hot water. Some of it stays solid afterwards. So I think we all recognize that water is essential for life. It has a low molar mass, but it's a liquid at room temperature. And that is due to the hydrogen bonding. I think I've got a graph here. Yeah, this is a more elaborate graph of one we looked at earlier. So this is looking at boiling points versus periods on the periodic table. And so here we have the group 4 elements bonding with hydrogen. And we see this nice, it's pretty much of a straight line. There's a nice trend here. Then if we get into group 5, group 7, and group 6, we see that for the smallest ones, we have this jump here, and water makes the biggest jump. And so we've got a trend with the others that as you go to lower molar masses, that the boiling point is lower. But these guys break that trend. Why? Because of hydrogen bonding. ET phone home, right? FON. So there's fluorine, there's oxygen, there's nitrogen. Bonding with hydrogen, these can all do hydrogen bonding. And so their boiling points are significantly higher than what would be expected for substances of their molar mass. Water is the main solvent for living organisms and everything in the environment. It has an exceptionally high specific heat capacity, 4.184 joules per mole Kelvin. Joules per gram degree Kelvin. So that is very high, and that is what causes water to moderate the temperature. Keeps the oranges from freezing, keeps San Francisco cool in the summer, warm in the winter. Another crazy thing about water is that it expands upon freezing. And so, here's a head of lettuce, and if you put that in the freezer, it all shrivels up. Because the water in those cells, as it freezes, the water expands and it breaks the cells. And so then you've got this mush left afterwards. Most substances, when you freeze them, they get larger. But water, that's backwards. Most substances, when you freeze them, they get smaller. Water gets larger, and that's why ice cubes float. That's why the lakes in Minnesota don't freeze solid. Just the top layer freezes, because as the water freezes, it comes to the top because it's less dense. And so then it insulates and keeps the whole lake from freezing solid. Water pollution is definitely a concern. I'm not going to test you on this at all. So obviously we need clean water to live. and what I just want you to be aware of, there are two main categories of water pollution. There are biological contaminants and chemical contaminants. So biological contaminants include microorganisms, and those can kill you, right? They can kill you pretty quickly. And those generally come from human or animal waste being dumped in or near a water source. These can be treated chemically. A lot of them are killed by bleach, or you can get iodine tablets or something if you're camping, or by boiling the water. That will kill a lot of them as well. So those are fairly easy to get rid of. Chemical contaminants, though, are not going to be eliminated by boiling. If there's lead in your water, boiling the water will actually make it worse because you'll boil off some of the water and you'll actually increase the concentration. And chemical contaminants can come from all sorts of places. And those can come from natural sources as well. It's not just humans that are contaminating water.